today. He made me the man I am, and
Complexities turn to ban.
I also have to give dabs to Z-Freak. I think he's an amazing player who can be easily in any tier 1 team.
Fair enough. Well, we're gonna find out what these two teams have in store for each other because we are already in the draft of the first game. So let's take a look at that. Coda, what do you think is gonna happen this match? Action, passive?
Well,
I
Fight,
was
scans.
hoping that for some reason an Earth Spirit would creep on through.
Hoping, yeah.
Turn to
I think Jarex plays one of the best, if not the best, Earth Spirits in the game, and it would have been a pleasure, but any team in the right mind would not allow him to have it. But it is going to be first pick to Complexity, so they played safe and risk handing it over here. So I'm curious what other high priority picks they're going to be willing to pass on right now. A lot of teams have been favoring stuff like Enchantress and Chen, and it's like Liquid know Complexity love to go for that Wisp when available, and they're not going to risk it like EG, who were confident to let Complexity have it.
Blitz, your Liquid's coach.
Turn to pick.
Okay.
This is a fact.
What went wrong? Why are they here? Why are they in the lower bracket?
They just got a little bit too adventurous and they like self-tilted. The second game was definitely winnable, especially after the first one. They rolled pretty hard. And game 3 tried something completely different. And I think that goes kind of hand in hand with what Moonmeander said about how sometimes Liquid on land just kind of tilts. I feel like they just got into their heads a little bit too much. They seem like they're in much better spirits this time around.
10 seconds remaining.
See,
Jesse's so relaxed.
He's so relaxed.
chill as a cucumber, my god.
Those chairs, I've done that before them, and they kind of snap. So be careful. I've blown over my ass before.
Lots of summoning grabs here. Beastmaster, Enchantress. Does this already allude to they're going to be ramping up the pace here, going hefty into the push? Should Complexity consider utilizing already their Nature's Prophet to go toe-to-toe with the push aggressive game, or do they need to backpedal a bit and have a way to deal with the Beastmaster Enchantress?
I mean, Team Liquid did the exact same thing in Game 3 with VP, and if Complexity watched that game, they should know exactly what to do and do what VP did. Then,
Yeah, Dark
Big
Seer
aura.
pick was good too.
yeah, Darkseer pressures the offlane, but they already have MP to pressure offlane, so he kind of does what Darkseer does.
How much can you actually prepare for an opponent? Because Complexity finished their series and then had like 20, 30 minutes before the next one. You mentioned watch that game, and you can't physically watch 3 full games in that 30-minute time. How do you like use that time before your next match?
I think what you can do is you go back to the hotel room where there's internet, because you don't have internet in your play computer, so you can't actually watch a replay. You go back to your room, you download it, watch 8 times speed, see how the laning phase went, and like, alright, Liquid did this, we're gonna do this. And you copy VP because they did this. When you play against like a lineup like what VP's lineup versus the
Turn to ban.
Beastmaster Enchantress, they're Sven. I mean, you're pushing into a blink Sven, so like if you lose one team fight, you kind of just lose the game. Sven just gets out of hand, so like maybe they'll ban it on Liquid.
And do you think Swindle's is a captain who would
10
actually,
seconds
like,
remaining.
he comes prepared? He normally has strats. Would he not rather use his own strats? Do you think he would try and
5
quote-unquote copy
seconds.
VP?
I was going to ask the same exact question.
I
that you
think
asked
he actually has his own strategies instead of copying VP, so he might do his own strategies. But I mean, poor Jakiro was insane. Like I had no like that is not a thing. I don't care.
He
whether
was
you-
boasting that it's a huge thing and
no,
that it
it's-
was working for him.
It is not a thing. I mean, we proved it against Archon. We just like I was running around circles, running Jakiro. Last game
10
it had
seconds
no
remaining.
impact as the core Jakiro. Some impact, but you know, not as much impact as the
5 seconds
other
remaining.
heroes. And you lose one team fight, you lose the game. It's just not a thing. So I hopefully he doesn't go back to that.
Reserve
Otherwise,
time.
maybe watching a quick game 1.
It gets way too one-dimensional. You pigeonhole yourself into pretty much only pushing. You have like no control factor. You can't really go and gank. You're pretty much just like 5-man.
Yeah, you're all in. You're actually like putting all the. It's a very risky, high risk, low reward kind of thing. But you know, you might cop a win here and there.
It's like the worst possible thing. High risk, low reward.
10 seconds remaining.
Lone Druid and Slark removed. Against Liquid, what do you feel like Complexity is gonna go for
5 seconds remaining.
this game with already Nature's Prophet and Lina picked up? Is that Lina is gonna be a core?
Reserve
It's gonna
You
be
would imagine?
core Lina, possibly. But I know that Zefrik loves to play Lina support because he gets a lot of farm on it. But I also know that Limp loves Lina, especially now that Lina is exceptionally strong middle because of the Ether Lens. It makes it such an amazing item on the hero. Plus another fact that points me towards Lina core is I know that Complexity scrims EG a lot, and EG loves Lina middle, and a lot of North American teams try to copy EG, so probably in the middle.
EG played a Beastmaster support earlier today, and I thought I was really good. 6 minutes, you're level 6, you have a war, you're going for a kill, and then 80 seconds later you do the same thing against somewhere else, and you just determine the tempo of the game. They ended up losing that game.
Yep.
But I don't think it was the Beastmaster per
was
se,
not the
because that
Beastmaster.
early game was really good. That game. Are we gonna see that from Liquid here? Whereas
Complexities
no
turn to
chance
pick.
anymore now with the Lion picked up.
No chance anymore because Lion was picked. I think that gonna be an offline Beastmaster. I like watch mind control spam the hero on pubs. And look at Sunny Melons with his book
He's not copying VP.
of Secrets. I want that book.
You wanna know what's
I'll
in
get it for you.
The
How
Swindle
much?
Bible.
Master Melon's mind. Into mind of the Melons.
10 seconds remaining.
Defix shaking his head like, no, we can't pick Jakiro. guys."
5 seconds.
But Jakiro's good.
It's page after page of like Jakiro. It's actually not notes. It's just Jakiro drawings.
Can we not pick Jakiro? So just-
Team
Witch
Liquid
Doctor, though,
turn
is
to
going to be
pick.
coming up very good against the Enchantress, against the Summons, and
One thing about this Enchantress Beastmaster, it's kind of just less about like Beastmaster support versus like 3 versus 4. I feel like they're going to go to offlane together. Like just how they kind of compare up and pressure the safe lane farming.
Yeah,
farming.
I thought they were gonna do that too, but in game 3 versus VP, it did the opposite. Enchantress just farmed. He had 16 CS. It was farmed.
10
Beastmaster had
seconds
no
remaining.
help in the offlane. It did. I thought they were like, oh, they could just pressure this event
5
because the
seconds
win condition for
remaining.
VP is a fast event, but they didn't pressure this event at all. Mind control was jungling. Yeah, he got a fast necro book
Reserve
3 and
time.
stuff, but he didn't really pressure this event. He lost his tower, so. Like maybe this game Kuro will now bring his Enchantress top, because one person who plays Enchantress and just runs at people in the laning phase, land them, and I think that's one of the better ways to play Enchantress.
he also plays Chen like that, I've noticed as well. Very, very aggressive. Not
It is
gonna play
a
greedy at all.
medium risk, medium reward. Call it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But if the ganks don't pay off, suddenly you have a level 4 Enchantress, the 8-minute game, and you're like, what am I doing in this game? I'm just dead. But if it works, just pays off. You win the lanes for your team. You snowball, you win the game.
And looking at Team Liquid, do you feel like they pick a lot of squishy heroes? Like, is there one hero for complexity that they could pick that would be good against all 3 of them?
I think the Witch Doctor's okay anyways. The Witch
10
Doctor's really good against
seconds
Beastmaster and the Enchantress. But it's not even so much a squishy. And now you've got your frontliner anyways with the Death
Turn
Prophet.
to pick.
We don't see Death Prophet too much this tournament already, but Liquid are one of the teams that will fall back on it right now. How do we feel about where Death Prophet currently is? Is she... I mean, she's not nearly picked up as much as we saw at the early part of this meta. Is it being kind of phased out a bit, or is it just that much more situational?
They lost against Death Prophet just now. It's one of those times, well, we liked it on G, we want to do that too.
It's very
10
good, but it's still
seconds
situational
remaining.
because it's quite slow tempo early on. It's just can easily be punished. Like that's what we
5
saw EG
seconds
do when they were
remaining.
against Chessie's Death Prophet. It's like, well, level 6 Clink, let's just keep ganking his lane, and this Death Prophet's useless. So
Team Liquid
Makes Sven
turn
seem
to
that
ban.
much more of a better pick for complexity now. You need the armor, the hefty burst against Death Prophet. We already mentioned that was pretty good against the early picks of Team Liquid. Do you think that's still a good option for coL? Going for the Sven?
So don't you just get kited if you take
Complexities turn to ban.
Sven here in the early game?
Yeah, you can't pick Sven anymore.
Yeah, I think you just get kited by
There's
everybody.
no raw counter. So if you get Smash is a good player, which he is, he would just raw to 7 every time he jumps in, and 7's tempo is all stopped. Then he gets by boars,
10 seconds
he gets
remaining.
third spell DP. I mean the spells, the
Yeah.
soul
Siphon?
siphon,
Yeah.
which
5
goes through
seconds
BKB,
remaining.
and he just gets kited and dies. Like, that's not good here anymore. It was not good ever since
Reserve
Beastmaster was
time.
picked. But you might like, oh, but VP picked it. But VP picked it Oracle, so you could dispel the raw.
Team Liquid's turn
You
to pick.
sides up and pick up the bounty hunter here. Any sort of extra significance there? I don't know if this is going to be more of a jungling kind of enchantress, and maybe he's looking to kind of be a thorn in her side
No,
at that
the-
point, or they're prioritizing just getting huge economy gains in the mid game with the track.
They want to just crap on middle. I mean, not crap. They just want to converge on mid lane. Kill the DP. They recognize that DP is a hero where you die twice or 2-3 times, you're just kind of out of the game. And it's a dire DP, so it's more punishable than Radiant. And so, and you have Lina middle. So, and Lina middle wants to always kill a snowball really hard, get the Ether lands, get the blink, get the bots, and just over the game, Shadow Blade, whatever. And that's the game plan for complexity. Collapse the mid lane. I can see it
10
happening already.
seconds remaining.
Oh, like maybe Enchantress Line will try to counter gang, but then Bounty's there, Witch Doctor's there, and
5
the
seconds
MP's pouring in, and numbers game 4v3, complexity wins. That's exactly what complexity's plan is. They're gonna
Reserve
try to
time.
take the mid tower and DP 2 to 3 times. And Liquid recognizes that, and they pick an anti-mage, which is really good. Anti-mage is a self-sustaining safe lane solo carry, so he doesn't really need help or supports. Like he's able to 1v1 and Nature's Prophet of a PMS. Like if they pick something like
10 seconds
I don't know,
remaining.
other carries like Weaver might struggle a little bit
5
against
seconds
NP.
remaining.
Lost
Some minions.
Slaughter.
haven't seen that guy in a while.
Well, let's see if Slaughter's safe lane or Nature's Prophet, because a lot of teams have been running the safe lane Nature's Prophet, but what do you make of Slaughter, Moon?
Mega Slaughter? I mean, look at the team. Look at the team spirit. To the Milans and Slaughter. He's
How come we don't see enough of that from all the other teams?
How do we
This
get?
is what wins you lands.
Why don't we have the audio?
I'll give the audio for you.
Yeah.
Stay green. Stay green. Let's go.
You did those
America.
chances. You did those
Yeah,
chances.
I
You're
did,
on this team.
Let's go,
America.
America.
What
They've got
was
threes.
your chant when you were doing those complexity? Do you remember?
You're like, let's go. 1, 2, 3, let's go. Something like that, if I remember properly.
Did it
Not
work?
America.
As in, did you feel like
Yeah, it
you got
worked.
pumped into the game?
Yeah, everyone got more focused, and it was a
10
chant,
seconds
and
remaining.
it was like the whole hive mind thing. Like like the whole
5
team is on the
seconds
same
remaining.
path.
You're one team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we know what, like I always say that. Okay, I told Melons to like before the draft ends, I want to like have a game plan, and he will explain the game plan, and then after we explain the game plan, we all huddle together, and then we do this whole team spirit thing, and then we get into the game. We know exactly what's we're gonna do, and obviously the game plan is like, let's kill middle, take the mid tower, go, let's go.
So change the chant based on what the game plan is. Like,
Let's
gank mid, let's gank mid.
Okay, guys, it is time for us to go into the first game. Quick predictions. I want to just hear a team name. Go. Go.
Good. Complexity.
City.
Liquid.
Complexity.
Okay, we have a split couch, and I heard we have a little bit of time because there is a
I'm
pause
glad none
inside
of
the
us
game.
pulled a bet into
So-
like VP there.
Moon, convince Blitz. Why complexity? Because he thinks liquid. He's slightly biased, so it's difficult to
There's like
convince
no
him.
way you're gonna convince me. Just like,
But you can try.
Beta. It's gonna fit middle. Beta, Death Prophet, playing a lot of European pub games. Every time I play against Beta, it's a free kill middle.
oh my
Full
god.
extents. Beta free kill.
He's learned to tone it down. Don't worry.
No. He's probably like, oh, I'm laning versus Spinner Milans. I'm just gonna tone it up, and he's gonna feed. Exactly what's gonna happen.
Dakota, why do you think liquid and convince gods?
I don't know. I guess I feel like complexity coming off of velocity, even though the spirit's really high. I guess it could be a bit high risk if they're not able to get enough done onto the Death Prophet. I could see Matama Man being able to pull out a very scary AM in the late game, and if that's the point, I don't see him gonna really be able to stop him.
Yeah, I think a lot's going to come down to the AM because DP is probably going to have a rough time. Even if she doesn't die a bunch, it's going to be tons of pressure. So
Yeah, but-
AM's going to put this game on his back.
Okay, well
But- Oh, sorry.
let's see. The pause is over. Let's see who is gonna take this one. It is complexity versus Team Liquid. Let's go.
Let's go indeed! I've got myself, Vegetable Capitalist, joined by VEC M-Dog, aka Merlini. What's up, M-Dog?
Dude, we need to chant like complexity. It could be like
Oh, we do!
carrots, squash, zucchini, capitalist, cats with me. Let's do this.
That's what we've been missing. That's why we're so terrible right now. If we just get a chance, everything will be so much better. All right. Apparently, we have pauses for days already. Already, we've had Jarek sneaking off to the bathroom immediately after the draft. And we'll have another pause here, but not really surprising that Complexity are going to be running a draft that is actually very similar to what they were running just before the majors, which was the safe lane Nature's Prophet. Complexity have to be probably one of the fastest teams that you're going to be facing up against in this tournament.
Do you think the anti-mage is going to be too slow?
I am a little bit hesitant.
Seconds to battle.
I'm all for rooting for the anti-mage. Blitz is biased for Liquid. I'm biased for anti-mage.
Yeah, you're only biased because of your predictions. Come
Exactly.
on. Yeah, that's terrible.
And I like Liquid.
So Ben went ahead and put down Animage on 3 different categories, 2 of which require 5 Animages to be played overall, and we haven't seen one yet until this game here.
We're not even past the group stage yet, Cap. Give us some time.
All the teams will realize that Animage is a great hero.
Let it grow. Come on.
Let it grow. Maybe that's our our chant. Instead of let it go, we need to let it grow for Vegetable Esports. That's good.
And Anti-Mage can be our mascot.
Oh, they're actually putting Chessie up in the top lane, so they are going to be putting Swindles bottom. If this was any other team, you would expect the safe lane Sardar, but Complexity specifically have run Nature's Prophet safe lane multiple times.
I like how all these players have played against each other in pubs too. Moon was talking about how Fada's just a free kill.
Fada is very much an aggressive player, through and through. He loves being able to just battle it out 1v1 and prove that he can beat the mid. And he is on a good hero to do that. Death Prophet just destroys mids left and right. Spirit Siphon is a really tough ability for any mid to deal with.
It's Lina though. Lina has sick range, decent move speed.
And he's got a Bounty Hunter behind him. Bounty Hunter should be rotating into mid lane eventually, but right now, he's trying to keep track of Mind Control's Beastmaster, who's currently full-time jungling.
It's interesting that he went for a different build than Fear. Probably a little bit more scared of actually being interfered with. I think Fear just went straight Iron Talon into one set of tangos, but with the Stout Show you take much less damage and it's a lot harder for them to actually kill you.
Yeah, and the Enchantress is apparently going to be joining Mind Control, at least the creep is anyway, the Satyr Tormentor.
A lot of resources though to commit to just helping out your Beastmaster get some levels, and Mind Control is already very, very scared and is heading over to
Chessie.
get that.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be caught here. It's going to be hexed up. He does have the treants blocking up, but the Centaur's going to be able to come in. No stun though. Kuro not able to get that down fast enough apparently, so not going to work out there. What is your opinion, by the way, on I've heard 2 different opinions on the off lane and leaving the lane. Heard some that it's just like anything to avoid giving up kills to a carry. If it's a dangerous lane, you know, just Iron Talon and it'll all be good. And I've heard others say it's essential for you to stay in the off lane in order to keep the supports in lane and prevent them from ganking the mid.
Was it an NA player telling you about
I am not going to say which is which. I'm just gonna. You think NA? It's NA, the Iron Talon region.
Yes, Iron Talon, Midas, it's all about that. It just depends on what kind of lineup you're up against and if your supports can actually do stuff. Like if they can have both supports farming the jungle and the carry is safe lane farming, I don't think you should Iron Talon.
Oh, Fada is going to be able to get away from this mid gank. Z-Freak and Chessie joined the mid lane. They will be able to get the Beastmaster, however, as Hanskin comes in as well with paralyzing cast. That's what I'm talking about. Complexity always willing to group up very early on, and this is why they love the Furion so much. Fast rotations.
Liquid have to be terrified of this lineup though, because they don't know where the Bounty Hunter is at all times, and then of course, on top of the Bounty Hunter, they have the Nature's Prophet that they have to worry about. So one hero, or what seems like could just be one, could be 3 at any second. However, their late game will suffer a hit as a result of this sort of lineup. So they're expected to get kills, be a little bit ahead, especially when there's an anti-mage on the opposite side.
I want to go back to that off-lane question, though. I'm going to take a little bit from your disdain of the NA region in general, Ben, that you're more of a fan of keeping your off-laner in lane.
As long as you don't chain feed.
As long as you don't chain feed, all right.
Chain feed's like, 2 deaths in 5 minutes at kind of unacceptable territory, and then you might as well just Iron Talon to begin with.
Well, hopefully Moon Meander's listening then.
I mean, it does depend though. Like, for example, if you're a brood and you die, and they have to blow like 2 centuries of dust and 3 heroes have to be there, that's a different story. So it's not always so clear cut.
Mind Control's having such a hard time in this jungle. He still hasn't hit level 3 because this Bounty Hunter is soaking up half the experience.
Yeah, Z-Freak's doing a good job of just leeching. Oh. Now you know something. Oh my goodness, that boar may be the death of Mind Control.
He's gonna be run down here. Z-Freak just needs to be able to keep up that Orb of Venom long enough for Chessie to get here. He eats through the trees, will be able to get a bit farther, but Z-Freak finishes him off. Didn't even need a Janata hit. Just the extra damage from Shadow Walk level 2 is actually gonna be enough to kill him. Now Jerix is gonna come in. Z-Freak is completely out of mana, so looks like he should be dying here. turnaround kill, but still, he's forcing a lot of resources here. The Enchantress as well as Fada rotating all the way over. I almost feel like maybe they should have given Fada the kill there. For him rotating all the way up like that, just lost so much.
They had to pick up something from chicken too. maybe.
Okay.
So
Run to the chicken.
This is kind of your dream as a bounty hunter, though. You kill the jungler, you force so many heroes up there, and it's not like a convenient place for Liquid to be. It's like right at their T2 on the top lane. You don't want to be there. You want to be farming peacefully. You want to be stacking. It was, I think, right before the minute mark too.
Liquid going for the 2-man.
Mind control on bottom.
Now.
Oh my.
They're gonna be able to pop him real quickly.
Yep, Swindles is already level 6.
We head back to middle, where Limp is gonna be slowed down by that Spirit Siphon long enough for Jarex to catch up, and Limp will end up dying here. And can they actually turn this into a push? Because Fada does go for the Exorcism at level 6. Seems like they want to try and take this tower early.
Not if bottom gets pressured even quicker. We already see the Treant creep skip, and Mind Control now just has no home.
Radiant's middle tower
He went bottom
Really
and just
doesn't.
instantly died. Instantly.
D-Freak's gonna come over into the mid lane, see if he can perhaps pull or something. Is he actually gonna go Jarex? Yeah, the TP's in. They really want to fight this one. The Spirit Siphon, there's only gonna be 2 charges left, and he's already down to half HP. Starts going on to Hanskin. Hanskin is gonna end up dead, but Fada already low with the amplified damage. Is gonna be right-clicked down by Swindles. And that will be a really nasty combination, because Complexity did manage to take that tier 1 tower bottom lane. As you said, they were kind of fast enough to be able to rotate and defend mid.
Liquid has to be very careful about the... That's pretty committing, right? You're going deep into the tower, you're attacking the tower, you come into Ghost, but they still have an anti-mage. When you have an anti-mage, you realize the game's going to be 4v5 for at least 20 minutes generally, and they're playing like they have a full team around them, or maybe they're just, you know, maybe hoping that Complexity can't rotate in with all the heroes all the time, because they seem to be everywhere. They're in the jungle, and then they're on bottom lane killing Mind Control, and then they're in the mid lane trying to kill Fada.
Yeah, this is really the strength of Complexity. Didn't quite see in their matchup against Evil Geniuses, just this really fast pace that they're able to put on the map due to just their picks. Like things like Nature's Prophet and Slardar as being your strongest cores going later on to the game is kind of different than most other teams would be expecting. You would think a much more well-rounded lineup would be in store.
They're hunting for Z-Freak. Z-Freak probably sees his chicken. He will see the chicken. It's snipe time.
Z-Freak gonna try and have to get it on the way back here. They're heading up the top lane with the courier heading that way. It seems kind of obvious that Jesse's gonna be ganked, so.
Yeah, but I mean, those wards are really good by Z-Freak. He is doing so much work in the jungle. Oh, he wants a chicken. Is he gonna get it? So much gold.
Coming.
They are just not really worried about
Slows
the
it
chicken.
down and does get it. That's a bounty.
It seems like they just haven't been too used to playing with bounty. He's been parked in the very same place for a very long time. And he scouted out the gank. He's forced Mind Control to go to lane and die even more.
And he's level 5. I mean, he's actually managed to keep up with his experience
That's
really
crazy
well in this
good.
game. Chasing around, they do have this aggressive ward in the top lane. They're going to try and catch Chessie by rotating the Enchantress creeps in from behind. Chessie's TP is back up, and looks like he was able to just run back fast enough. Still, though, they're going to bring Fada up to the top lane. He's got an Arcane Rune, so I guess you do have a lot of incentive to try and go for an Exorcism push, but he actually starts backing out. Mid lane's going to go down if they commit Fada up to the top lane, so I guess he's got to head back to mid.
Odyssey Z-Freak.
Starts slowing him down, but he is going to be comboed here. Sprout is going to lead into the Light Strike array and just executed by Limp. Fast Laguna Blade 3 now. They will be able to take that tower. Matapa Man picks up the kill. That'll speed up his farm progression a little bit, but there's still going to be a wealth of time where Complexity are going to be far ahead. Curl's going to go down as well.
Jarex in mid.
Diving in, Jarex is going to be going down to the right clicks of Chessie. The follow of TPs, Matumba Man realizes he won't be able to get there in time to pick up a kill. And all that Liquid are getting out of this is a level 6 on Mind Control.
Liquid just do not seem to be able to handle the pressure for Complexity. They're coming from every direction, every lane, pushing, and I still think is mostly the bounty hunter.
Oh, absolutely. Z-Freak has done an excellent job of dismantling Liquid in the early laning phase. Blink Dagger's now picked up by Swindamalones. What Mando likes to call him.
This is where you get an early gem on the Beastmaster. You say, screw this guy. I'm gonna see him ward him, de-ward all his wards, and then put him there.
I don't know about that, because it feels like with the Blink Dagger now picked up by Slardar, nobody's safe for Liquid. And if they invest into a gem and they lose it, I feel like the game's pretty much over.
So this point will be revealed. Fada.
He jumped on. Jerix is trying to help out. They're actually not going to fully commit to Fada. They just focus on the tier 2.
I think they might continue after this. I get Arcane Rune Pop, maybe Exorcism. At least bait out Exorcism at some point.
Yeah.
Actually, they're getting a lot from the side lanes. Throw Mind Control, Matumba Man, all threatening towers.
Swindle? That is only level 1 untouchable with the chest heals coming in. That's actually enough to be able to pop him. That was a bit unexpected. Meanwhile, Z-Freak does get caught there. I'm not sure how he died right in front of the tier 2 tower.
They were all TPing out and then got engaged upon.
Thumba Man runs into Limp. By the Light Strike Array, and their Laguna Blade is up for Limp, so Matumba's got to back up. He almost has his Battle Fury, needs about 1,000 gold more.
No, the value Arcane Exorcism was not even used. By Fada.
Sad times.
At times indeed, and Fada just seems a little bit vulnerable at this point. A lot of these lineups based around Death Prophet have not had sufficient tools to try and protect them, and their resources are just spread a little thin. And first is Bounty Hunter, now they have to worry about the Slaughter with a Blink on top of the Nature's Prophet TPing in, so they just need a little bit more time.
Yeah, they definitely don't have a good saving hero. The reason BP had so much success in one of the games against Liquid is because they had Oracle.
Oh, they don't have... Oh, no.
Wow, that is so bad. Liquid, another smoke that just completely fails for them. They're trying to, like, recover, essentially, through these smoke rotations, and it's just not giving them anything in the early laning phase, and now they're going to get picked off. Swindle's going to try and jump on a Jerix. Nice response, though. Managed to get off the Hex, turn around, Finger of Death. The casket is going to bounce over to Kuro, and Jerix may end up dying because of just a little bit of HP, but here comes up Furion. He actually wants to be able to pick up that kill. Thanks to the bounty, he will be able to see and catch the Lion kill.
Dude, what was that? Well. He blinked while smoked.
That was insane.
What on earth?
Was he actually smoked? There had to have been a time where the smoke popped. There's no way that Jerix is spamming Hex right on the ground next to him?
He knows the team is chasing him, though. Yeah. He knows where the Bounty Hunter was because the smoke got revealed. He dropped the observer ward, he didn't see anyone. So he knows naturally the next person that's going to jump him is a Slardar. But that's crazy. Yeah, like Slardar blinked in front of him, which is what you would normally do as a blink initiator, because you don't expect that sort of reaction speed.
Yeah, unfortunately, blinking in front of him meant there was no turn rate there for the Lion.
Yeah, exactly. But you never expect that from a blink from the smoke. That's crazy.
We will have a Yule Scepter finished up pretty soon here for Limp, so he's going to have a nice combination to kill pretty much any of Liquid's heroes. Unless Liquid get a successful smoke, but it seems to be a bit of the storyline so far for Liquid. None of their smokes have worked out.
Yeah, they're scrambling. They have the Ench support in the early game, which is decently risky, and it's not paying off for them right now just because they've gotten mowed down by the city forces.
Seems like in a way Bounty Hunter is an appropriate response to Beastmaster Enchantress opening, because of the way that you just really will not have the kind of support control to offset the Bounty Hunter's presence.
Well, that's why people suggest the dual offlane as opposed to like a stout quelling start. It depends on where you expect the Bounty Hunter to be. And then if you pressure the enemy safe lane, Slaughter doesn't get that early of a blink, your Death Prophet has more time to farm, but like her HP right now is just really low. She committed to phase boots. She even has to pick up a casual bracer, which you don't really want to do. I assume he's going to the drums, but this is a poor Death Prophet.
No vision whatsoever by Complexity anywhere near this Roshan pit, but they may still kind of know just because everyone's off map. They're not actually pressuring down that tier 1 tower in the bottom lane, and Complexity are taking top. There's only two options. Liquid have smoked up and are rotating, or they're doing Roshan.
Yeah, if they see anti-mage though in the mid lane, they know that the exorcism was committed.
Right.
And so I think they can use this fact and take even more control over the next, despite Roshan going the opposite side.
Liquid just going to try and grasp at whatever they can get at this point in time. They take Roshan and perhaps go bottom and see if they can take this tier 1 tower. Complexity are not actually going to respond. It looks like they're going to continue their 5-man pressure and just rotate into mid and take tier 2. Feels smart. Rotating into the safe lane, trying to defend a tower that has no HP and you're not really set up for it, feels like an unnecessary risk at this point in time.
And we see the hand of Midas coming up from Swindle.
Okay.
He's done this a decent amount. It's when you're in that weird phase where you've taken a lot of the map control, your opponent can't really farm anywhere, but you still need a farm because you can't push the high ground. You go for this sort of item. I think Swindles likes it, Moon gets it sometimes. It's not a terribly uncommon pickup, and you want some insurance versus anti-mage just because losing one high ground push due to Exorcism just rolling you over or a big mana void will cost you the game. So they're going a little bit of the safer route, especially with Liquid picking up the Aegis.
Freak just stopped the Necronomicon level 1 from being completed for the Beastmaster by sniping off that courier. Freak just seems to be all over the map right now.
Yeah, the gold is actually
force.
not as big as I thought though, just because the anti-mage is really farmed. Uncontested, 164 last hits in 16 minutes.
Yeah, he's still 2k above anyone else right now. The lane is sitting in second at 7,500.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
They do have good tools to kill him, like Amplify, plus like a stun lock from Lina, and Witchwalkers should be a lot of damage coming out. They have Lina who might get an Ags later and also pierce through that spell shield.
On lane fight, Spirit Siphon going out will be able to keep Fada alive long enough to kill Chessie. Meanwhile, Swindle's gonna be sapped by the Harpy a little bit, but that should be the end of the engagement. Back over to mid though, they have the ult scepter, really gonna commit to this one. They want to be able to take, but then down, Swindle's gonna be able to help out there. The rest of Liquid starts swarming in, but it doesn't look like they're actually gonna be able to get anything. A very disruptive paralyzing cast prevents Liquid from being able to pursue, and now if anything, they have to be careful of Complexity turning around on them with Furion coming up in 10 seconds.
Swindle was just almost dead. Casual south, let's earn.
Yeah. To get right back in the fight, and that was a huge kill. We're talking about how big the Anti-Mage was getting, and with that kill, they managed to slow down the Manta a little bit, which is really one of the big items for an Anti-Mage and finally fighting. Kuro, with the amplified damage, they may not hit him very often, but when they do hit him, real bad. That's going to be another pick off there for Complexity.
You know, Lina is one of their most picked heroes. I would say versus Ench, they will go for that so often versus the Ench. And she's just very vulnerable to Lina's arsenal with the mass attack speed from Fiery Soul, the mass magic damage.
And if you can do well enough on your Lina and actually get the completed Ags, it's really effective versus the
I mean, in this particular game, though, it doesn't even matter because it's a support Ench versus a core Lina, so the farm discrepancy is always going to be there.
Yeah. Sorry, I was talking about the effectiveness of the Ags versus Anti-Mage.
Yeah. Versus AM.
Yeah.
Time for Lotus Orb. Man, Lotus Orb's not even that great versus their lineup, though.
No.
It's decent versus Slaughter though. You want to take that amp off.
Damage, yeah.
And track.
And track.
Yeah, okay, it's still pretty decent. But who's gonna pick it up? Mind Control is working for Necro 3.
Fada is so underfarmed actually.
Yeah.
Phase Drums doesn't have Yules yet.
Yeah.
And he's probably gonna get picked off again here. Complexity have a 3-man smoke wraparound. Eric's actually sitting behind Fada, hoping to be able to save him. Somebody jumps him, but he's actually going to be one jump on. They immediately blow him up. Fada's going to return with the Exorcism and try and take out Hanskin, and support for his support is going to be fine for now. Limp, he's actually committing for the mind control kill. Laguna Blade isn't quite enough, but a right click will do the trick. And now Limp is just going to have to TP away, but the damage is too much. That is actually well worth it for Liquid so far. Matamba Man coming in as well, forcing back Swindles from jumping onto Kuro. And that was actually a very acceptable fight for Liquid. It looks like they're going to try and utilize this Exorcism and push down the tier 1 tower as well. Top lane is being split pushed up by Chessie though.
That's a very odd movement by Complexity. You can tell that they want to do something because they don't have sufficient late game, but they're trying to fight into a Death Prophet with Aegis and with Exorcism up.
Now Fada's going to be caught. The push was just a bit too much, trying to defend the top lane as well as push down mid. Now he's going to probably die twice here. Crow's trying to help him out, but yeah, they're going to commit the death ward. He just gets blown up with the amp damage on top of him. Crow's having some issues as well. He's been sprouted up. Whoa, gets in range of the death ward. Is going to almost die to the urn. Managed to get off a wand just in time to keep himself alive, but that's only it for now. The rest of Liquid's trying to battle it out for some reason. The roar comes in. Mind Control tries to go for the back line and take out Chessie. He doesn't have nearly enough damage. Chessie goes to maybe half HP, and that is just clear miscommunication. I'm not sure what that was with coL pushing forward like that, but
Lion was like about to get caught out after that. So yeah, it was just a strange fight coming out from Liquid. They felt in a pretty good position because they had they just got a kill on the Lina and they still had Exorcism up. But once Exorcism is down, like where is their damage coming from? There's no Manta yet on the anti-mage, and now high ground T3 looks like it's gonna fall.
yeah, without the Beastmaster, and he still will not have Primal Roar for another 30 seconds, even if he does come back up. Complexity, the Dual Scepter actually slows down Swindles. They try and follow it up with Silence, but can't really do anything here.
Complexity is transitioning very well though, because their lineup was supposed to peter out a little bit ago, but firstly, Bounty Hunter played very well. Secondly, they have the Midas on the Slardar, so he has 4,000 gold right now. So it is BKB, and he will continue to get more items, hopefully, you know, like an AC or something that will also augment Witch Doctor's damage. And then they have the Nature's Prophet, who has also transitioned very well and has an Ag Scepter after his initial items.
I kind of like this, even if they are dealing with the Animage Battle Fury. You know that pressure is the name of the game for Complexity, and if you have these treants pushing in all the lanes, Matama Man is only going to be able to deal with so much.
What cost man does he have? Primeval Treant, the Ohio set.
Is that going to determine whether or not you think Ags is a good item? Like, it depends on what kind of treants he has.
It depends on what you get overrun by. Sometimes it's like the zombie treants, sometimes it's these treants.
So which ones are the bad treants in your mind? Is it the mushrooms?
I think the zombie treant, the Halloween ones, it looks like you're getting overrun by zombies. Scary, man.
Oh, okay. So from a
like
Furion perspective, that's good. What's from a Furion perspective? What's a bad one?
What's a bad one?
Yeah.
Mushrooms. I don't think mushrooms are really that scary.
Mushrooms.
Yeah.
What about the bamboo ones or whatever that?
Fada runs into.
Yeah, that's a smoke for a smoke. Fada's still feeling comfortable with this one. I'm not quite sure. I guess they got Matama Man in the backlines, but still, Draka's revealing some of it. Is Mind Control gonna try and make an initiation? No.
Swindles
just hiding in the
BKB.
trees.
He wants to use it.
Yeah, he really does.
Oh, hi, Kuro.
Yep, he's gonna find coL, and Chelsea's gonna join him too. The track? Yep, they got a track. And Kuro's probably going to be dropping here. Liquid's still fighting out in the back line. They're going for Limp. They will be able to kill him too, and it's still taking so long for them to actually kill coL, as they actually now controlling Swindamelons. He has no mana, can't be able to stun. He still has the sprint going off, but maybe coL can finish him off. He gets a couple more impediment shots, but that's not the case. And somehow Liquid actually able to turn that engagement around. It just seems like Complexity
His team didn't
maybe
have Blink.
focused too much on the Enchantress.
No, he had his BKB. Whenever you get your BKB, you want to fight with him, just because you're so strong at that point. Problem is, his team's like on the other side of the river. They can't blink up there. Z-Freak was behind him, as a true brother should be, and got his track off, but that's about it. They weren't even able to get one track kill on coL, and he's probably the ideal hero to get caught out. Maybe a Beastmaster after the roar. coL's that nice HP.
So they got just a little bit overzealous perhaps on Complexity, thinking, oh, Liquid are backing out, you know, let's just try and get that quick pick off, but they spread too much. Even if coL dies there, it's going to be somewhat worth the trade-off with Limp.
Yep.
Even if you take account of the track gold.
Yep. And with those couple of movements, it looks like it's anti-mage can finally breathe a little bit easier, because he finally has his Manta and his team hasn't lost a Rax yet. So that's pretty good. 23 minutes and he's farmed.
And Mind Control is Necrobook 3, so finally our Beastmaster is actually a pretty big threat.
He's had good Hawk placement too. His Hawk placement allowed Fada to not die in that particular smoke engagement, which is really crucial. If Fada dies there, they push high ground and likely will either force Fada's buyback or they'll concede a Rax. So that was really important that they had the Hawk placement.
Yeah, Hawk is actually revealing Swindles, and I believe they probably saw Z-Freak use Shadow Walk earlier. They should know there's a number of Complexity heroes here. It looks like they're going to try and fight it though. The TP in for the Beastmaster. He gets some vision around here. Will be able to find the roar onto Hanskin. Looks like a quick takeoff there. Fuel Scepter on the left-hand side on a Swindles with a follow-up from Jerix. Looks like good control, but Limpid's coming in, and that's a very scary hero. Liquid are just going to try and dance around him as much as possible, and they do so successfully. Jerix actually TPs away, and that was the only hero that Complexity could have caught.
I wonder if Swindles is regretting his BKB. It's because it's not it's good versus Untouchable, it's good versus Lion, is exceptionally bad versus Death Prophet because of you want armor, I would say, and it's not that great versus AC.
Is that the other choice though? It's going straight for the AC.
AC, I think AC is pretty. Just because I think they're still strong enough to win fights without BKB at this point. And I think you get, like, if you start losing team fights, then you actually get the BKB. But it's not like they're losing team fights right now. They're losing team fights because of poor positioning, rather than lack of items, because their cores are actually really farmed.
A little bit of side note as well. I mean, Untouchable is only level 1. You actually have AC. It's like she's.
Oh, she's only level 8?
Yeah.
Wow.
She's really under level.
Yeah.
Mid lane, Fada, gets the BKB off and will be able to turn this onto Limp now. Fuel Scepter of his own pops the Exorcism, tries to running these heroes down, but the rest of Liquid not here quite yet. They're beginning to get here, but it's just a bit too late for Fada to actually catch anybody. So that's going to be Exorcism down for nothing, as well as a BKB charge. It was a pretty bad turn of events there for Fada specifically.
I wonder if they'll want to go right now.
Yeah, that definitely should.
Oh,
knowing BKB is on cooldown and everything else.
Or Big Roshan.
I mean, they could probably do both. They do Roshan.
I cannot do anti-mage is at their T2 already. I don't even know if they can get Roche without someone having a TB back. I guess Nature's Prophet can, but Nature's Prophet has Ags. He cannot man-fight the anti-mage by any stretch.
What is the next item for Chessie?
We see Scythe a lot, Octarine. Depends on whether or not he thinks his lanes are going to be pushed in or not. If they have trouble pushing out lanes, then he can go Octarine.
Seems like their disable is okay. I think I'm down with Octarine with the Ags.
Yeah, or he can go right click too because of their position 1 Solardar.
Yeah.
Who doesn't actually have any damage right now. Just
but if you were going to go right click, wouldn't you have gone it over the Ags in the... Or you think it's okay to...
It depends on what your weaknesses are, because Nature's Prophet's kind of the hero that can mold to fit any situation, although we do see phase drums almost every single game. After that, sometimes you get Orchid, sometimes you get Scythe, sometimes you get Octarine, plus the Ags.
I like how aggressively Matumba Man is actually chasing the Furion, because the Furion TP'd it. He used a teleport scroll, meaning that he was hoping to just be able to push the Matumba Man back, and then teleport back to the bottom lane and join the rest of his team, and they could go for sort of 5-man push, but... With Matumba Man pushing so aggressively, he actually forces more rotations, and now Liquid are in more of an aggressive position than
they want to wait the Aegis out.
Yeah.
And let's see, Z-Freak picks up a gem. Chessie is back in base. He has 5,200 gold, so let's see what he commits to. Scythe wants to kill Anti-Mage. So their plan right now might be to use Solardar and MP and gank the Anti-Mage, or it will be to keep the lanes constantly pushed out. But that's delaying the game, which I think is in Liquid's favor. I think they actually need to kill Anti-Mage and kill Death Prophet, because Death Prophet is BKB, so you don't have like a Hex on your team, you don't have a Lion. The Blink Solardar should be pretty reliable, but they haven't actually been able to get it off that much. So let's see, he has bought one item, it is the Void Stone, so be excited. Well,
actually, could be either one, but Heart is almost up from Matumba Man.
Yeah, they're running short on time though.
Complexity is, do you mean?
Yeah, if they want to take it out of Rex before Anti-Mage gets too big. And their Aegis is running out very soon too, so this is the time.
Beastmaster Smoke is gonna pop. He knows that someone's there. He pops an Necrobook, but he immediately stunned up by Swindles. But still, the Primal Roar gets laid out. This is perfect for Liquid. They're catching multiple heroes out. Limp has already been taken out with that Aegis. They're gonna blow up Pumpkin next and still have some control. Actually, Limp managed to get up his full combination and takes out Fauna in the process. But Matumba Man's gonna come in with this Manta, blows up the Lina so damn quickly. 2 out there from Complexity for the 2 of Liquid. And they're looking for a bit more from Matumba Man.
He's out of mana.
Has the gem as well. This is actually a really big death. Normally, Z-Freak is just like, okay, you got one of those supports, but him dropping the gem here is going to be pretty fatal for Complexity.
Oh, the Necro 3 actually stopped. Oh, he ran into the tower.
No.
Oh, I don't actually think they had detection. The Necro 3, I think, expired. And he continued on towards the T3, thinking that he was dead. Big loss.
Oh yeah.
This is kind of like the turning point for me. If you're complex, you're like, oh crap, we're gonna have to either kill Anti-Mage. Right? This is because you just had the Aegis, right? This is supposed to be. This is your time to shine. So now they have to pull a lot better maneuvers. Firstly, they need a D ward. They had a gem, but Liquid still has very deep observer wards, and they constantly have eyes on the slaughter, which makes it so easy for everyone else to get some sort of farm.
Yeah, this kind of double aggressive vision is great for the animate split pushing the top lane as well, right? The only rotation that could catch him out would be straight through the top lane.
Well, now they have the scythe on enemy, so they can't be safe.
Yeah, that's true. Swindle's gonna try and make his jump. Matumba Man knows about this. He's seen it. Furion is going to complete the scythe. Matumba Man doesn't actually blink away in time, and now he's going to be controlled up pretty heavily, and they will be able to nuke him down ever so barely. coL tries to finish off Hanskin with little success, and now Swindle's going to be able to catch even more. Takes out the Hawk first. In on to coL. They'll get him eventually here.
Oh, gem right back. That was really sloppy by Matumba Man.
Mm-hmm.
It had been communicated last fight that there was a hex, because I think he hexed the Beastmaster as soon as he came in, and as soon as you see the hex, you have to be way more careful as an anti-mage, because then they followed up with Slithering Crush, and then Light Strike Array, and then the cast, all the meanwhile with a Death Ward channeling. So that's kind of that's a game changer.
Yeah, and then coL is so desperate to try and help out Matumba Man that he gives away an additional skill.
While yelling at him.
Loses the gem, probably.
They have a scythe.
What are you doing?
Don't worry. I got this. Watch this, guys. I'm gonna beat him all over
just
here.
finished boy playing Dota, come on. Ranger Axe is going to be chipped down slowly but surely by complexity.
He actually has the Arcane Rune again. I'm dead. It's actually not that great of a time for even though anti-mage is down.
They're probably going to wait until like, what, 15 seconds, right? And then commit for the Ranger Axe. Because at that point in time, you don't want to buy back on the anti-mage. You'd rather just wait it
You
out.
just run in as fodder though.
Or Swindle's actually going to jump on him. They're going to blow him up. Jesus! He actually gets Primal Roar now on his Z-Freak. The turnaround skill not really going to merge that much. Vada is going to be able to buy back, and they're going to be joined by Matumba Man. He's got the Exorcism ready to go. They're going to control up Swindle. They don't actually use the Exorcism, though, realizing that the Swindle kill was completely for free. Chelsea's got to get out of here. Matumba Man's going to try and catch up, but he can probably just hide himself for a little bit and TP out.
Not so bad for them. Vada, he wanted to defend his racks, but he knew that anti-mage wasn't alive, and played by Swindles right there, seeing that quick opportunity to catch out a Death Prophet who has no armor, and Death Prophet's itemization will continue to be difficult. You want armor, you also want Octarine, you also just need HP versus the Lina Ags.
Almost seems like Octarine is the natural progression here, rather early on, but
the fights
I
have been
think he needs,
really far between.
Yeah, I think he needs just a basic mail before he goes Octarine, maybe.
They need a Lotus Orb. I don't know who's gonna build it. I would say Beastmaster, but he looks like he can win for Blink. Like Lotus Orb is insanely good versus their lineup, because you have to be able to take away like Hex, Amp, so Death Ward doesn't kill you.
Yeah. They can actually take off the Scythe, the Lotus Orb on Animage. You can actually probably get out and destroy the fight after.
Yeah, the problem is they're are too squishy. The only way they can stop like a BKB Zerg down, especially on the Death Prophet, is a roar from Beastmaster, but he can only roar one target.
Right.
There's going to be a lot of things happening in the fight, like a Witchwalker channeling cast from the back lines, and
yeah, if you have amp damage, everybody's damage is from complexity. It's actually pretty threatening. As you said, the Death Ward is actually super dangerous.
Yeah, he has the lot of ACs. But they have they need someone else to initiate though. The Death Prophet, yeah, you could run in. It's not ideal, and it is one way. But you need like a Lion Hex or a Beastmaster, where I actually think this to start off the fight, so that Death Prophet knows when to pop her BKB and just run in instead of trying to reactively wait for someone to get chains done from. Good.
What's our next item for our Animage? Because he's got 4k gold. You continue down, like the heart made a lot of sense versus Alina. You have a certain amount of pure damage that comes in. You just need raw HP, but...
I don't actually know if heart was the right build though, because he's been fighting a lot. The way they win the game is by extending the game, not by him surviving in fight, right? Like Doesn't matter what item he had top. He had heart and he still died, right? So if he goes any other item, he still would have died anyways. But he can pressure the lanes a lot more with the butterfly, I would say, because he's not looking to fight. You're looking for complexity, their BKBs to get really low, them to reach their peak, although they are still scaling pretty well.
So would you like him to still go back for the butterfly, or is it Abyssal Blade?
I would have preferred butterfly Abyssal as opposed to the heart, because it's not like their high ground was like really in threat. Like they weren't even able to breach it even with anti-mage dead. So that means that they can fight 4-on-5, which is exactly where you want to be as an anti-mage. You want to do as much damage to their racks as possible. You never want them to get to your base. If you see the Nature's Prophet, you want to be able to solo kill him, but you can't solo kill him with art. That's a big problem for them, because Chessie is able to continue to get out of control in terms of farm. He's pretty close to like a very close to free farming anti-mage. I think the discrepancy should be a little bit greater, and a lot of that is because of the. You see AC sometimes too versus Slardar, but as you mentioned, you want HP versus the Lina.
Rotation around, Fada and Kuro. Seeing if they can actually wrap around behind and mid and catch somebody here. Complexity are there in force though. Be a bit of a dangerous fight. The only hero they're really missing is Hanskin.
They have Swindle Melons is constantly showing himself, which is not good. You don't want to show yourself as Slardar ever, because if you blink in, they have vision on you, and you get hexed, you will get crushed in the fight. So he has to make sure that he's like actually, I think, like sitting behind heroes, looking for heroes to jump on, and then you pop your BKBs and win the fight from there. And Matumba Man already at it. T3 under fire.
Yeah, that was a very awkward smoke from Complexity. They're gonna have to try and defend their tier 3. Pretty sure Liquid are okay to just back out from here. Or a quick pick off on Swindles out of position there. It's gonna be hexed up, almost blown up immediately, but will be able to get away back inside his base. The Fury almost bouncing around. Curl is gonna be taken out by the Laguna Blade, but the turnaround now is Matumba Man takes out the Lina 1-for-1. But now with Fada in full position here with the Exorcism to be able to rip through some of these squishy heroes. Mass buyouts now from Complexity. They have to be able to come back in this fight and get multiple kills. Swindles leads it off with a 2-man stun on a Matumba Man and mind control. Fada is going to be the target with the amplified damage, but he's getting stunned up. He's getting controlled way too often. Fada finally does go down, and Chessie's going to try and TP forward to catch mind control as well, but mind control pairs that blink with the blink himself and will be able to TP out. Jerix and Matumba Man also should be able to get away as well. So while they did manage to kill Fada, that was a very heavy commitment there for Complexity to recover a fight on their side of the base. That's not the kind of position Complexity ever wanted to be in. They wanted to be able to be the ones forcing the fight onto Liquid's side.
Again, they're in this awkward spot where Swindles is a little bit too far ahead of his team. He had a smoke bomb. He's like, oh, what do I do now? If he blinks forward and crushes, no one's there to follow him. But if he backs off, he already gives away the element of surprise. And it's not like he's going to BKB and run away, because that's just a waste of BKB. But he does get hexed and eliminated very early on in the fight.
Complexity are still going to push forward with Fada dead, 30 seconds. They managed to get the Hex alone a lot here to be able to control Limp, but Matumba Man though does get stunned up. Oh, that ultimate being dropped. Limp is pretty much dead. He gets off the BKB, gets a small amount of distance, but Kuro finishes him off with one of those impetus shots. They look for more. Mind control sees Z-Freak. Gonna go for Hanskin first. Controlling him, Matumba Man is gonna be able to take that kill. Z-Freak does manage to get away.
Uh-oh, that's bad. That wasn't even a clean initiation from Liquid. They overlapped the Hex and the Roar, but I think that Jerix is playing pretty darn well. Like, firstly, that blink from Slardar into the immediate Hex, and then like a couple of Hex jumps too. Slardar on the bottom lane after the T3. Now when they push up to the high ground, like the Hex is actually just better initiation than Complexity has to offer.
Yeah.
Maybe Complexity needs a load sword.
And that's just the nature of this kind of lineup though, right? Is that Complexity, we're never supposed to be in this position at 35 minutes where Liquid are able to kind of fumble their initiation and overlap stuns and such, but it doesn't matter because all they have to do is blow up one of these damage dealing heroes and the other cores can't really follow that up. They kill the Lina, what else is going to happen? Slardar clearly doesn't have the damage yet, and because of the fact that Nature's Prophet went for this Aghanim's Refresher aside the Vice build, he doesn't have the greatest right click damage either.
A lot of money is like invested into BKBs that aren't necessary. I think it's mandatory for Death Prophet to get one, but for Complexity, like they have BKBs yet they still die. So when that moment starts happening, it's bad news bears, Complexity fans.
Paralyzing cast, kind of slow things down, prevent this melee racks from going down, and it actually will, unless the Manta Illusions chip it down a little bit more. Nice sprout, actually. That is beautiful. 22 HP. Ooh, wow. Went all the way down to 18, but the melee racks will survive. Still, though, Liquid obviously in a great position. As 37.5 minutes in, they have finally made that net worth graph go into their favor. Of course, experience has been in their favor for quite some time. That's kind of the nature of Complexity's 5-man lineup.
I'm surprised they didn't immediately go for Roche. It looked like Complexity's like, oh man, they could be doing Roche right now. But
yeah.
I think they saw that Matamba was up top, and now they're going to go for it. But Complexity has already exited their base. So Liquid, they're one big fight away from feeling very comfortable with how the rest of the game they're going to proceed. They're already pretty comfortable. They have buyback on anti-mage. It's going to take a lot for them to drop them down, and then now they have to fight an exorcism. They haven't been able to find that window where exorcism has been down, yet they can. They're scared.
There's definitely a lot more pressure on Complexity to be the ones.
Look at
because if you're Liquid, right?
Man's playing.
If you're Liquid, you just sit back and wait for Complexity. If they ever try and go Roche on you, interrupt. If they ever back up too far, you go and take Roche on yourself, which is what they're doing now. A lot of pressure was on Complexity to be able to find some sort of opening, whether to attack Liquid or go for Roche on themselves. And
this is desperate. They don't have a smoke. Like, there's no way you can make this play without a smoke. There's a treant sitting on the high ground just waiting for you to come without a smoke. So that's, let's see, Cheese on anti-mage, he dropped his class for it. Fada now has Aegis.
It's funny, usually you would think it would be the other way because Prophet is essentially a transformation hero, right, with Exorcism.
Yeah, I think that Matamba Man, like, you can't replace an Aegis with another item, but you can replace Cheese. So if they don't need to fight in the next, like, 2 minutes, yet they want to make a high ground push, they can just swap it out for something else. Yeah, it's most often you'll see it the other way around. I don't even know if you need to give it to anti.
Yeah, he seems a little bit unkillable. What's his random gem doing here?
But when you feel that way, that's how you get killed.
Here, we'll see if Matamba Man trips it up again.
I cannot die.
Right now, he's doing the smart thing, just beating on 2 or 3 towers, not really worrying about anything else. They managed to force out a BKB from Swindles and controlling Limp at the same time. Swindles gets taken out, as well as Limp. That's going to be 2. Liquid have no Complexity have no buybacks either. Liquid knows that. Look at Matamba Man. He's going straight for tier 4s. He doesn't even care about the rest of this fight. His team is zoning out the other heroes, but Matamba Man's just like, nah, I'm just going to go straight for the throne. And his boys are going to join him now. Complexity won't be able to fight this one with only 3 of their heroes. And there's also no way they can actually delay this for 50 seconds. So Liquid just going to end the game.
Yep. That was a well-constructed strategy by Complexity. I think there were a few. We've seen a lot of half-committal to pushes, like hey, let's put in more play with this push strat, or hey, let's get minus when we need to end the game really early. And yeah, sometimes people are like, oh, it's too all in, but sometimes you just have to go all in. You need to take that risk so you can't end the game.
And this really makes me feel quite bad for Complexity because this was like their lineup, right? This was what I've seen from them. Really fast pace,